Oh, guys, we're gonna start here in just a minute. Just gonna share the link here. Hi, Dino. How you doing? Okay. Let me double check my bookings. I know LGC posted it again here, so let me make sure. Alright. I'm doing good. Okay, got all that taken care of. Let me do a quick check of something. It happens. School will like blend in. Like looking back, I barely remember any of it. Hi, DPS. Yeah, I just use a standard GSW ring. Okay, that makes sense. Doing good. Hi, Debo. How you doing? All right. This is gonna be a big boy pay-per-view. We got 10 match pay-per-view and a lot of tag stuff. So the last couple, when I checked for double checking stuff, the last two were like minute, hour 52. So it'd be interesting to see if that stays pace or not. If we do something else here. Where are those? I gotta clear some belts. The big boy in your house. Yeah. Okay. Where were they put? That's tap out. That's later. Um, there he is, the trios. Okay. Face red, droopy eyes. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I've just been thinking it's been a bit since you guys streamed anything on the Retro Sports Gamer channel. All right, but yes, opening match. Who is Blackheart Foundation will be challenging the Horsemen to recapture those GSW Trios titles. Slapbox. Yeah, you probably need a day off from it if you're feeling sore, to be honest. Yeah, I remember you guys went down there a while back. I, I, I thought about it, but I didn't really have the resources to make the trip, unfortunately. See, all right, opening match. See how it goes. Not the ninth. Interesting. Green Bay. I'm guessing tournament, I bet. Or something like that. It's in a few days. No, I don't think you're addicted necessarily, but you said you guys go pretty hard, and you guys aren't professionals, so, and if you can get in trouble with school, so, ah man, it's been forever since I played Dreamcast, but I'm gonna get re-familiarized with that when I review the season mode of NFL 2K on there soon. Yeah. I don't mean to, like, because I feel like lately, I feel like I've been doing a lot of 2K stuff the last year and a half, but I mean, 2K did a lot of sports games, and a lot of the requests I get are for the 2K games. I don't get a ton for EA stuff, which, granted, their reputation's probably why. There's nothing wrong with being competitive. I mean, some guys get too like into stuff like that, and it kind of hurts the thing a bit. Starting with Arn and Owen. Since yeah, guys here, I just wanna just for being prepared, if for some strange bizarre reason the stream stops, I do finish on finishing the whole event tonight no matter what happens, so in case that happens, definitely check in and hop back in if it does, but we shall see. 2K, that's a good question, Dial. That's actually a really good question. To be honest, I haven't played a lot of current NBA 2K games. I think the last one I did, I reviewed, I think 2K20 on PS4 on the channel. I don't play a lot of... To be honest, I've been on a huge wrestling kick. And a lot of that just has to do with the fact that I didn't really grow up with wrestling. I grew up with the other sports, maybe outside of hockey, but I grew up with all the other sports, video game and real life-wise, so... Wrestling to me has just been kind of like a breath of fresh air to me, because I was so into other stuff for so long. So that's kind of one of the reasons why there hasn't been a lack of other stuff on the channel this year compared to prior years.
Give up. Give up.
Hi Dimitri, nice to see you again here. Jokes. Yeah, I got... But yeah, I was gonna do the Triple Play baseball series this summer, but I was missing a couple installments and I didn't realize and I couldn't get them in time. Of course, I'll probably I'll cover them eventually, of course. It just won't be, unfortunately, it won't be anytime soon.
5 minutes gone.
Oh, I like the Genesis a lot. It's one of I do love Streets of Rage 2. Oh, stun gun right there. Oh yeah, you gotta earn shit like that. But yeah, I have to say probably my favorite console, it's kind of a base answer, but it's probably the PS2. I just grew up with the PS2. And it's such a great utility console because literally everything, anything in your imagination's on there. For like, it's a great starting console because it has so many options to explore, and it's done in a way that I feel like it's probably the most recent thing people can pick up and not feel lost. Hi, Fear Bart, Fear.
Give up.
Just time for the opening thing here. 2005. I didn't get one till like 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s, like the Slim. I was very late. Like I didn't get like a PS3 till like I got the slide door one. So I didn't, and it was in the box. So I didn't get a PS3 till probably 2012, and I probably got a PS2 a few years before then. Yeah, because I remember getting Madden 11 on PS2 sealed for Christmas.
Give up.
So that would have been like 2010, and I had that, so I definitely got in the late 2000s. JJ Dillon interfering here. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't really do PlayStation games. It should, but when I tested it a while back, it just couldn't cut it. But my PS3 does, like a dream. Oh, wow, that's a steal compared... Because those 6th gen consoles now, they're like 120 bucks now. Like, I'm not shitting ya, because when I was started collecting stuff was like 40 to 60 bucks in that generation. And now it's like double and a half of it. It's insane. DDT. Yeah, I think that's what it was. But the thing is, I have a PlayStation, and if I wanted to pay more high-def PlayStation, I just put it in my PS3, so I never really felt the need to test the PS2 for PlayStation stuff. Well... You know what? I reviewed them a while back on the channel. In fact, the first wrestling game I ever played was Warzone on PlayStation. To be honest, like, the combo system is not great at all, but I really like the aesthetics and the style. Attitude has a ton of depth in it. I mean, you can argue whether it's great or not. I haven't really fully explored Attitude. I kind of want to, but I feel like I want to get better at that combo system, because I don't want to do a project on a channel revolved around that game and just have all these matches just me doing like base moves just because I can't get the combos down. That's that's the biggest thing working again. Oh, figure 4. That's the biggest thing working against that game, is the way the wrestle system is. But if you work at it and try and practice, you could probably get it down. And I will say though, I had an easier time. Attitude is like ECW. Yeah, the ECW games, those came after WWF because WWF switched over to Aki. And so they got, that Owen Hart pile driver. You know what, I played it on here. I reviewed it on the channel a while back. Sharpshooter on Rick. Mine works. Yes, try Attitude, because try Attitude for sure. I think the here's the funny thing, the last ECW game, I've heard a rumor that they made the combos a little bit easier in that game, but I'm not sure. So that's something, Dragon Sleeper on Arn right there. So I'm not quite sure if that's true or not, because I haven't played that myself. I've only played the first one on N64 for ECW. I will say though, the Legends of Wrestling games that Acclaim did, that wrestling system is much better than the ones in the older ones. If they, I know I keep saying this, but if they would have took that Legends of Wrestling system and put it in those old Acclaim games, those games would have done a lot better. Yeah, I think a lot of criticism people had at the time about that game was that it felt super dated compared to all their other wrestling games that were out. Because keep in mind, the Aki games and the SmackDown games were out at the same time as that game. And another thing people had an issue with is people felt like they kind of cheaped on the ECW stuff because they felt like the moveset of the roster didn't 100% reflect the guys well, and they just cloned stuff out of laziness. That was why there's a lot of criticism there. Of course, a lot of that can be lost in hindsight when you go and just pick up and play it. Oh, 2K14's fantastic. Oh, look at this. Horseman retain. Some bonus rewards for Star Fox's TWL promotion there. There's my pen. I was gonna do a YWA project on that a big while back, but I decided to go with 2K22. not that much of a fan of wrestling. I get, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. Like, I didn't really become super OCD with wrestling till many years down the line. I barely was aware of that kind of stuff. So, but I will say this, like, because I think you're on the younger side. You didn't really grow up with wrestling in its peak. So I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't get into wrestling nowadays. Because wrestling nowadays, like, for a long time it was rough. And I can kind of get why some people can get turned off. Oh yeah, the Ruthless Aggression era. Ruthless Aggression era was great. That was a good era. Let's see, 77. 4H. Yeah, Attitude Era is considered the best era, though there are some people that consider the Rock and Roll Golden Era the better era, best era too. It's really between those two. Oh, I love the Edge Cena rivalry. I think why I love that rivalry so much is that they're perfect polar opposites of each other. Use man. Oh, that sounds so familiar. All right, next match: Darby Allin versus Adam Cole. There. Here. Let's see. Okay. Alan Cole. All right, next match. Yeah, that's, it's funny that because I think their goal was to make it like their quote unquote NXT at the time, but when they started, the idea was more for it to be like a ECW successor, but I feel like they jumped the gun with the WWE isms. I think to make it more successful, I think they should have kept it more ECW in spirit, but they really didn't. And they kind of phoned it in a lot early on with it. I mean, that whole show only had one belt. I meant both. Look. Nice. It's funny, like, there's a lot of elements in wrestling that I could put that feel very anime-ish. Because here's one of the things I love about wrestling is it reminds me a lot like a live-action fighting game. Because the bare essence of wrestling is you got a lot of big egos, big characters just duking it out to try to be the best. And just like pretty much close to a fighting game, like it doesn't typically have a lot of depth in it, like a fighting game. The plots are usually pretty on the simple side. They can be compelling and epic, but they can be simple too. But everyone's there but the wrestling is what really get the fighting and everything. That's what is the driving force for like both, really, the action part. Well, yeah, because oh yeah, I totally get that. I don't remember when they went from the PG to the reality era. I know the PG era started in like 08, 09, I think, like more towards 09, and that lasted till like around that time. Yeah, because the PG era is when people started to really tune out of it, because the shift went toward more family friendly, and it really rubbed a lot of people wrong back. Okay, Dino. But yeah, I mean, monitor. Ooh. Interesting. Maybe he's doing some scouting for future opponents. Here's the rest of the card, by the way, because some of you guys aren't in the Retro Sports Gamer Discord. After this match, we got Danielson versus Austin Theory. Then we got Takashita versus Swerve Strickland. Then we got the Rhodes versus members of the Kingdom. Then we got Sword versus the Bloodline. Then we got the Bullet Club versus the Ass Boys or the Gun Brothers. Then we got Shamrock versus Sting from TWL for the GSW Tap Out title. Semi-main event, we got Vader and Two Cold Scorpio teaming up to fight Legion of Doom to get back those GSW tag titles. And then in the main event, we got Mr. Perfect versus Logan Paul. Wow. Adam Cole with a statement. But like I was saying, like in the main event, we got Mr. Perfect going to be fighting Logan Paul. The winner's going to get a title shot in either of their respective promotions. That got 78 with less than 6 minutes. Wow. That's a lot of hype. That's a lot of action for under like 6 minutes. Oh yeah, you see, I was born in 95, so I didn't really catch that stuff more. I think my earliest wrestling memory that I saw some random scene on TV of Sergeant Slaughter on the Ruthless Aggression era Raw set, but that was it. Oh. Alright, 78. That, you see, if the... Darby... Alright, next match. Danielson and Theory. Oh, interesting. So it's crisscross. Okay. And then... Theory. Alright, let's see how this goes. Oh, Retro Sports Gamer Discord. I'm a member of that too. Because when I started doing the stuff I do, I pretty much mainly posted on that channel before I started doing my own Discord. I've been trying to do them on both. I slightly lean on that one just because of habit. But pretty much everyone that's involved in all the stuff I do is on both. So, but yeah, so that one, I post stuff in that one as well as the Campy Company one. But yes, that does remind me, streaming schedule-wise, voice. That's just the voice I was said. I'd probably mess with the voice tone to try to find one of the representatives' voice better, but I always thought it was close enough. But yes was a big catchphrase he had during his prime.
Fight!
Always slam there. But yeah, in terms of streaming schedule, trying to think. I believe I could stream tomorrow, but I don't know what I'd be streaming if I decide to. Cause stuff I was gonna do today I had to push to tomorrow. I know Eli brought up that he wanted to do a pay-per-view, so I might check on him again on that. But if he doesn't respond, I'll probably move on to like week 2. Although I would be kind of tempted to maybe just, depending on how the day goes, ooh, Spanish Fly, to like focus on RCW stuff on 2K23. So we'll just have to see. I have to say, I've been playing the showcase mode and stuff in 2K23, and I have to say that I do consider it kind of an improvement over 2K22 in the gameplay area and all that. It's definitely a good game for for us doing the RCW stuff. Yeah, that if I ever stumble across a lot of money again, I'm gonna try to get some Japanese consoles for the Japanese games, because I don't have the tech know-how to mess around with modding or ROMs or any of that, and so I'm probably just gonna be simplistic with it and just go for like a console and import the game. I know the King of Colosseum games. I know a lot of those Japanese games. I know a lot of them do use English text in a lot of areas. Oh, the bell lock.
Give up. Give up.
So so that's something I'm probably gonna lean on a little bit for that. I know the King of Colosseum game, from what I heard, doesn't really rely on Japanese text that much, which would be great, because I would love to really get into that game. Because that game, from what I heard, is pretty much like 3D Fire Pro. But more of the bell lock.
Give up. Give up. Give up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the older console stuff is definitely a lot easier to do. When it's more, I know, because I know a lot of people show off ROMs hacks of like No Mercy and Here Comes the Pain, of new rosters, different promotions, and all that stuff. And I think diving headbutt. I think I tried I've tried a few of them every now and then, but I just couldn't get them going. I just couldn't. I even tried the Fire Pro, because I have Fire Pro on Steam too, and I tried getting the mod pack to work on there, and I was close, but it's just beyond me. I mean, like, if it's beyond like a couple clicks, I'm just like lost.
11, 12,
So, and to be honest, I haven't always heard the best things about those kind of things. I know a lot of people say they do it and enjoy it, but I've also heard a lot of people say that they can be very touchy, and if you do specific things a certain way, it can really wreck it. So I've kind of didn't prioritize it. To be honest, ATL. To be honest, a couple things. I actually, now I saw, you know what, I like ATL in this game a lot better than real life, because in real life, when he does the ATL, it looks like he's gently carrying the head onto his knee. It never looks like he's actually hitting somebody on his knee. In this one, it actually does look like that. Also, what was I gonna say? But I will say, at some point, I'm not gonna lie, at some point, there will be a switch to Steam for Fire Pro stuff, because the PS4 download store eventually will shut down. They have said that it will eventually. And when that does, it's gonna make doing what I do on here almost impossible. So that'll be a big growing pain there. I think it's the weakest wrestler of WWE. That's the thing with wrestling. Wrestling is very subjective, because poor wrestling... Oh, LaBelle lock. And he taps. Danielson with the win. Because a booking, which is when a promoter or owner, whatnot, when they like tell a wrestler and give them stories and stuff to work with, that can determine a lot about what they do. Now, in terms of like in-ring action, that's really, I feel like that's probably the best way to measure like actual wrestling, because there's some wrestlers that are great at talking but not like 5 stars in a ring, and there's some guys that are 5 stars in a ring but can't talk worth a shit. Yes, 95. That's definitely needed. but yeah, in terms of like in ring, well, here's the thing. Nowadays, with the way they have things down to a science nowadays. So if they feel like a guy isn't ready for in ring stuff, they won't have him on TV, or at least like on like the big ones. They would only really use guys they know are like ready. Um, but there's some guys that think some guys got like promoted high up, but aren't the best in ring because of really the character. Like Roman Reigns gets criticism a lot, and Brock Lesnar for their Cena definitely. Oh, yeah, I mean, age makes a difference. Like, typically with wrestling, it's funny, wrestlers, typically a lot of wrestlers, their prime's actually in when they get to late 30s, early 40s, actually. Because even though when they're young and they're like fired up in the ring, their character and talking skills isn't always the right one, and it could take them a bit to find one that works for them, and especially working a crowd and stuff, that takes time too. So usually a wrestler finds that sweet spot when they're more seasoned. Next one, Takashita versus Swerve. Okay. I know that sometimes other people that watch it, sometimes their internet, because I know Grayman says when he watches that sometimes he doesn't get the proper thing, but it's technically fine during the stream. So sometimes the signal in other people's area can make a difference. And then Swerve. Alright, let's see how this one goes. I'm not the person to ask about that. Because when I started doing, it's funny. Like I said, I could create a whole book or video series on doing YouTube, on my start on YouTube stuff. Because when I started, I did the TV thing. I still do the TV thing. Because the problem is, the reason why is by the time I figured out how people actually did it, I didn't have the tech to do it. And I didn't have the tech when I first started, but I really didn't have it once I got going. And to be honest, like, I get a few people that complain about it or mock, but for the most part, people don't seem to mind the way I do it. And I definitely do a good job to try to get the camera as close as possible, get the right audio quality. So I definitely try to. That's why I've leaned a lot towards streaming. And I've been trying to get the tech to do streams and stuff like that. I have some of it, but I'm still missing some. And its creators. Oh, you know what, that's a tough one, because when I first got this game, I just downloaded everything and everybody. Like, I went through, because when I first started, I went through all the promotions in the eras, and I just downloaded everybody and just did a bunch of shit. And I just kind of did it violently. I got a lot of guys from Avengers K Radiation and the like, but that was years ago when I did that. I haven't done that after a bit when I started having the game and I was just going on a downloading spree. Genesis or Super Nintendo more? That's a good question. I haven't really played a lot of either. I'm not gonna lie. The biggest reason why I kind of I don't play as much of that era of gaming on the channel, only because let me try to think. Only because the games aren't always the most price friendly. And to be honest, when I have my... Because I play them through a retro trio, which has NES, Genesis, and Super Nintendo. And... Powerbomb counter. And the one I had, it really was fucky for a while. And I went through a streak where I got games, but they weren't working on it. And it kind of like... It really, and I went through that with disc games too. Like there was a period. There was a period where I just was kind of ready to be like done with that kind of stuff because I was getting so frustrated when I get games and they didn't work. And that's probably a big reason why I kind of took the break from those stuff because I just couldn't keep up with it anymore. Swerve Stomp. Thanks, Fear. Yeah, because pretty much all the guys I do on streams anymore are the guys I convert for TWN. I don't really do, like, the downloaded edits, typically. There are a few exceptions, but not a lot. Takashita. Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When YouTube started, and it's unfortunate for you because you're kind of getting into it at a time where everyone has these ridiculous standards about. Yes, yes, rubbing alcohol. I've done so much of that shit. Yeah, they're a tiny. They're not like a pain. It's just sometimes it's a process, and here's the thing. I just stopped getting new games because I just don't have the money to do it anymore. I just didn't have the money to keep up with doing games of the week like with learning about and sports game reviews. Series reviews like what I did like I've done with the sports games on the channel. Those are kind of stuff that in the franchise season modes and all that. That's the kind of stuff I'm definitely more leaning towards at the moment. Of course, playing regular video games will like not disappear. It's just I just needed a year to be off it for the most part because I just didn't have anything to work with. NHL 94 is great, but like I was saying, like it's unfortunate, Icy Hot, that you're kind of going up during this time where where everyone has these ridiculous expectations on people who are doing media on their spare time, because back in the day when it started, you just did your best, and people just enjoyed it for what it was. People didn't OCD like, oh, you didn't spend $50 to get the right filter. Or, oh, you don't have $200 to like to record on your laptop and then upload it to the YouTube. You know, just stuff like that. Like that's kind of been a big reason why. That's kind of one of the that's not a reason, but it is kind of something that kind of sticks in my head a little bit when I still do videos the way I do them, because I just kind of feel like it's kind of like ridiculous to have that expectation on YouTube, because the point of YouTube is to make content that the point of YouTube is that anyone can do it. Anyone can grab their phone or whatever, like shoot some shit, have a laugh, and put it online and whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be Shakespeare. That's the point of it. Like, if we wanted to make it Shakespeare, we would just go to fucking Hollywood. Okay, we go to YouTube so we could do whatever hits. Because you can find an audience anywhere. So I don't like the recent attitude the last few years that everything has to be pristine. Now, if you can get it pristine, that's great. Like, I'm not against that. Like, even if I had the tech and the know-how, I would do pristine shit. But I don't always have the money, and I don't necessarily have the more so the money, but time can be a factor too to do stuff like that. And to be honest, I haven't really been given a big reason to. Like if at least half of my audience said we would like to see a little bit more quality in the content, then yeah, I would probably slow down and try a little something else. But I really haven't had that. Oh my god, yes. You know what? It's funny, when I started doing what I did, I wasn't aware of EFEDs. I didn't learn about EFEDs till like this year. So it's kind of funny that I always find it funny when I come up with something and I'm like, oh wow, I wonder this is so weird and different. And then I figure out it's been people been doing it for years. I just am doing it weirdly. Yeah, exactly. Like if you can see and hear the game fine, then I think that kind of gets the job. That's so I hate that. That's awful. Yeah, James and Mike Monday, so I'm losing track of time. Roads in the Kingdom's next here. But yeah. Yeah, James and Mike Mondays, I fucking miss that shit. Like, I used to watch so much, because a lot of my first YouTubers that I watched were, I started with Nostalgia Critic for a bit, and I watched that for a while, and then one summer, I had some roommates, and I was off, at the same time, I was also off video games for years. Like, I didn't play video games at all in college, like, barely. Like, not till, like, my senior year did I start getting back. But the summer before then, into my senior year, what was it? The Roads, okay. I was staying at a couple, and the guy had an Atari flashback and a Genesis flashback, but it had a cartridge slot where you could put cartridge games in. It also had a lot of built-in games. And I messed around with those, and that kind of lit a spark, and I completely binged watch. And then I decided that'd be the time I try Angry Video Game Nerd Out, and I just binge watched it the whole summer along with other AVGN stuff. It was amazing. One of my favorite binges that I've done in my life. Big Champino. And that's kind of what ignited my love for video games, as well as the same time for me to fully pull the trigger in doing YouTube stuff. Because I thought I considering doing YouTube stuff, but the original thing with the channel, what was it? Oh, the Kingdom. Okay. That's because I think it was Tavin and Bennett. Yep. Alright, let's see how it goes. Because the original thing with the channel was that the original goal of the channel was it was kind of going to be like an AVGN Nostalgia Critic kind of thing, but with a show based around that kind of style. But the twist of it was that there was going to be other people involved in the channel doing their own videos and series all on one channel, like an actual TV channel where you had different people doing different programs. But the problem was, one, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how any of them did what they did on YouTube. I didn't know how Nostalgia Critic did what he did. I didn't know how AVGN did what he did. So I was just brainstorming for a while, and I just was struggling. So one day I decided, all right, let's slow down here. All right, you need something you can do simplistic weekly, like a James and Mike Mondays to the AVGN. You need something you can kind of do that doesn't cause a headache, and that's what started the Madden series. Because I was thinking, because I was looking at the games I had. I was just thinking, has anyone just sat down and just played through all these Maddens in a row? And no one did. Now granted, I fucked up because I didn't realize 01 was on PS2 till down the line when I was doing that series, so I kind of had to circle back a little bit on that. But that's where it kind of started, and that ended up being my main thing. And when I did find time to eventually Frankenstein a series similar to AVG and Nostalgia Critic, it bombed, and it got and the playlist, not the shows, the playlist got copyright strict, or no, a community strike, and I had to delete the playlist, and that just kind of eliminated my desire to do that kind of stuff, because it took a lot of work and energy, and it just didn't go anywhere, and I just decided that I needed to just do some other things. I don't really, you know, it's funny you ask that. Okay, Icy, I'll see you later. Madden series. Oh yeah. The Flash. It's funny when I mentioned earlier about the Genesis console that I played the flashback thing. That was his. So all that stuff stayed with him, of course. But years later, when I was staying at an RV with my girlfriend or girlfriend slash fiance at the time, now my wife, for a fun little thing, there was that same flashback Genesis console there abandoned, and I have it in my thing, so I do have it. I will say though, I don't know if the sound chip is 100% on par, so I don't know how like solid it is, but yeah. Oh yeah, like the Madden series, because I reviewed the PS1, PS2, and PS3 variations of it in a group thing. So yeah, yeah, exactly. It gets the job done, and for something that has a bunch of built-in games ability to play other Genesis games on there, that's a pretty good deal. Because you can't even do that on Atari. But yeah, but then that got me on a sports kick. So I did sports stuff, but I also did vlogs, like movie reviews and stuff, because I wanted to do stuff that was simple. Because here's the thing, at that time, I didn't want to wait to do YouTube stuff, because I didn't want to be one of those guys that builds expectations up, I need... Hello guys, we're going to restart it here in just a minute, just going to share the link here. Yeah, I was afraid of that I was gonna do that. I don't know it's weird, like, it doesn't, every once in a while I'll go through a spell where all my streams just get broken up no matter what I do, a mini spell or whatever, but every once in a while it'll just stop. I mean, well, this time my internet just disconnected audibly. So I do feel like that my problems with it would be solved if I used like an Ethernet cable, but the problem is there's no Ethernet port in my room that I stream. It's in the room next door, so I'd have to wrap the cord around the door into the other thing. It did. Like usual, I'll be combining the two ASAP, so they're one video, so that's something to keep in mind there. You know, I will say, like, this summer, I feel like I've had more streams broken up during the summer than I've had before when I did streams. But a lot of that, I think, is just... It could be anything, you know? Because I could get everything right, I could get everything shut down, everything perfect, and it'd still break up. And then I can have all this other shit going on and it can go fine. Yeah, I might have to experiment with that because I'm kind of getting... I'm getting a little... Hey, Debo. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting a little... I mean, I'm okay. I knew it could happen, and to be honest, we're about halfway through the pay-per-view, more or less. I knew it was going to be a long one, so I knew there was a chance. So I'm not too broken up about it, but my biggest thing when this kind of stuff happens, more than anything, is that it just creates a little extra work for me. Just a little, but it's extra nonetheless. And Spike Pile Driver. And the thing is, the internet there's nothing wrong with the internet necessarily. Sometimes it may take a little bit to kind of get it at the right levels, but it gets there and it's done well. I just think that actually that'd be great, because I definitely would like to brainstorm it. And see if I can get away with it. Okay. Yeah, because when I started doing the Ethernet port at my prior apartment, the internet quality did improve quite a bit. And when I started doing stuff here, it was great. And yeah, like, it just seemed like the last couple months it started to kind of be a little shit about it sometimes. Not all the time, of course. Like, I'll definitely go through a week, 2 weeks without it happening. But, you know, it's kind of part of the thing. Wow. Yeah. It's just kind of part of the thing, but you know what? I mean, here's the thing though, when the internet does cut out, does that weird thing like that, it's usually like only once, and then the rest of it's fine. It is like even more rare, like incredibly rare, like 2 or 3 times where it'll cut out like multiple times. And you know what's funny? I think, oh, it's just a storm or something, but there's no storms going on. And there's times where I do it with the storm going on and it's fine. Like, there doesn't seem to be a predictable logic to it. It just does it whenever it feels like it. And you just kind of have to roll with it, unfortunately. But it's not the worst thing in the world. There's a lot worse things. Like, it could be a whole lot worse. Like, the internet at when I used to live with my parents, the internet there was atrocious. Like I could, like, for a while, a long time there, I could only stream once a week because it took so much of the good internet my parents did have. So yeah, it could be a whole lot worse, for sure. And it's funny, when I stream through my laptop, like recorded style, like, it's never had an issue. The only time it broke up was when the internet legit went out, like full out. Not like on here. And here's the other thing too, I almost wonder why sometimes it cuts out is the amount of stuff I have downloaded. Like, if maybe there's maybe there's a, because I have heard, like, if you start reaching the tail end of the limits of your storage, that it can make things a little fucky sometimes. So I almost wonder if I kind of clear more space out, if it makes a difference. Because here's the thing, there's a shit ton of wrestlers that I can easily delete, but I've been kind of holding off on it because I wanted to do one final part of the WCW Fire Promoter thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, I will say this about the 2K23. Like I said, I think it's a vast improvement over 2K22 in a lot of ways. I will say, however, unfortunately, I will say I don't know if, like, I don't know if I'll be doing as outside of the RCW stuff. I don't know if there'll be anything else there. Oh, the Rhodes get the win. because because the 2K22 that thing glitched out on me during streams a bit, and it ruined like a mode I was doing, a whole series mode I was doing. So I don't have fondness of 2K22. I lost a bit of fondness, unfortunately, on that game, which sucks because I really enjoyed that game when it was out. But 2K23, it's better for sure. I still have caveats. You will remember the name. Yeah, exactly. I still have caveats about. I still think the storage limitations need updating a lot. I think only having 100 slots for wrestlers, both creating your own and downloading, is ridiculous. I think it needs to be a lot more than that. And I know that it can be demanding, but I mean, I don't. But here's the thing: if you're gonna make a sandbox game like that with so many resources, you gotta give them the space to play around with it, because they give you all this cool stuff to do, but they limit you on it though. Yeah, and here's the thing, because typically when I do series reviews, I typically gather all the installments at once, or like start with a count all the versions that were on a specific console and go from there. And that's typically the rule. I had to break that for the 2K series because 2K20, when you download 2K20, it will lock you out of playing 2K19. And I was not going to sacrifice my 2K19 for 2K20 for review series. So I had to break my rules on that, if you will. So I had to put a little asterisk on the WWE 2K series playlist, which sucks. The 2K, yeah, what a piece of garbage that game was. There's a reason why people play 2K19 for 3 years. Alright, next match. The Sword versus the Bloodline. Some more tag action here. That reminds me, LGC, is the Job Squad still a group, or did you fully break that up? I haven't transferred Jimmy yet. I'll have to... Shoot. I can just go to the free agent pool. Drop Squad is gone? Okay. I'll have to make adjustments. I thought I transferred over... I swear, sometimes I feel like I have to do something twice for it to actually be done in this game. Or my memory's just getting shittier. Alright. See how it goes. Not enough jobbers. Yeah, man. I wish we had. I mean, I'm glad I will say this. I'm glad I did the new promotion rule, because it was getting to a point where we were having a lot of wrestlers just in free agency, and I know there's a shit ton of wrestlers, but it's nice to get some guys some like breathing room to like do stuff. Okay, I'll have to make adjustments then. Because I think he is, actually. I have to double check. You know what's funny? I just finished doing the Cena Showcase mode in 2K23 to unlock stuff, and I really liked that mode. It was a really nice mode. Really did a great job at it, because what made it unique is that you played his opponents in losing matches of his, which was really interesting and really diverse. Really cool mode. I still gotta look at GM mode. I've been doing My Rise for a bit. I do like the My Rises in these games. Yes, it's really solid. Some of this audio work from some of the guys who I got the edits from was really spot on. That ooh-wah, though, I gotta remember to make it a little deeper, because it's a little higher pitched than I would like, but... I will, on a side note, I am glad to see that they are allowing the Usos to be singles guys, because... Oh man, that'd be interesting. I don't know if... Here's the thing, everyone's thinking CM Punk's gonna join WWE. I don't know if they're gonna do that, in all honesty, because I know it's gonna make them money, but after that whole Vince fiasco in the locker room, I think they're gonna be pretty strict on, like, locker room fuckery. Because I think they've realized that the better the locker room is right now, the better the product's gonna be, and I don't think they want to jeopardize that for Punk. I don't know. It just depends on how things go.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Because after all that happened in AEW, granted, all the stuff that happened to him happened in AEW, I'm not going to say that was his fault, because I'm not sure if it was or not. It very well could have been an innocent in all of it, but, I mean, still, I mean, is it joining? Well, that's the thing, where else does he go? You know, that's the only thing. Does he go to Japan? Does he go to TN? Does he go to Impact? Does he go to NWA or MLW? That'd be fun. I wouldn't. That could be fun. I mean, here's the thing. If they just told Punk, look, this is our plans and this is what we're gonna do. Okay, you're either gonna be good with it or you're not. You know, I wouldn't leave a lot of room for negotiating. Because I just don't think... I think the biggest issue that happened in AEW, and this is a whole thing with Khan, he gives the guy... It's funny, what got people there is now serving as Achilles' heel. He's giving guys way too much freedom. Like, he's not putting his foot down on anything. And you can give crap to Eric Bischoff on a lot of stuff, but even Eric Bischoff, I feel like, knew when enough was enough. You know? But I think that's the biggest thing with Khan. I think him letting Punk go, hopefully he starts making a habit of being a little more assertive, because here's the thing, he's the boss. Like, when the whole thing started, everything was all, you know, hunky-dory, love and peace, and everything was great. But that's the thing until you hire that one guy and it causes a shitstorm. And you're not prepared for it because you're not used to, like, being the boss. You're used to being, like, the buddy. Because it's not just dream booking anymore. You have to, like, be a boss, and you have to give speeches, give stern talks, and you have to be very critical. And there's times where you're going to have to be an asshole. And that's the thing that Vince McMahon got. For all the mistakes Vince McMahon did and all the stupid shit he did, he understood that he had to be a boss. And it was his way or the highway. You may not like it, and a lot of people didn't like it. In fact, a huge majority of people didn't like it, but he stuck with it. And I gotta respect that. And he made it work. He made it the promotion, the biggest wrestling promotion in the world. You don't get that by only making mistakes. He got some stuff right. Hi, Star Fox. Uso Splash. Ooh. I mean, I mean, he could. I don't have a doubt about it, for sure. I mean, he very well could. Like, what I say is pure speculation. It's just guesswork. Like, he very well could get complete freedom. I mean, I don't know how well it will work out if they go that route, but if they do give him that freedom, it'll be interesting to see if they do. I just think a big thing. I think my big thing is no more guys holding on to belts for storylines. That's my biggest thing there. We don't want any more bloodline tribal chief bullshit. Ooh. Yeah, the Trump. Oh yeah, that was something. I don't know how well that holds up. No, he is not. The belts that his model has are retired belts that I have to fully retire. Oh wait, no. Oh, you mean it out in real life? My bad. Yeah, he is actually. He's still WWE champion. You know, it's funny. Like, going into this year, like, he had all this prestige and stuff. But they've been slowly stripping it away. Cause first thing is that he got pinned by Jay. But then he still kept the belt. Like, there's no point in him keeping the belt, because all the story stuff he's been doing after WrestleMania 39, like, he could have done without the belt. That whole Civil War story and all this, he could have done that without the belt, outside of them fighting for the championship at SummerSlam, which even then, you could argue that wasn't, you could have gone a different route with that too. Yeah, they wanted to, like, yeah, they sacrificed great story endings for paper records.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, look at that. Usos get the win. The Bloodline get the win. Yeah, because for a long time, they had the 2 tag titles in the 2 championships. The only championships that were around for anyone else to grab onto were the IC and US title. The tag division was in shambles. I mean, it was a joke. I mean, and you may mock Triple H for bringing back the world title and all that Tide stuff, but I will say this: I'm sure as hell fucking happy that they changed the women's titles, because having it SmackDown or Raw was stupid. Like, having one WWE and one World is a lot smarter way of doing it. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He had that record for like 30 to 40 years. I mean, if anyone's going to take that record, it might as well be Gunther. You know? So, and it made the IC title worth $1 million. Because before him, those mid-card titles weren't worth a crap. That's the one thing about the Bloodline having all those titles. It made the mid-card titles worth so much more. I will give them that. Even though I think it's still bullshit that they had to hold on to all those titles for so long. I remember for a bit people were speculating how they would split the titles back up, and I just kept thinking they're not going to split those titles up. Cause, no, and they said that those titles were one title. They just didn't combine them as one belt for the longest time because Vince was in charge at the time, and he thought that it looked better of them carrying 2 belts than 1 belt. That's the only reason why they never unified them until Triple H took charge. She's still around, but she's not a champion right now. Well, here's the thing. In the Indies, in NXT, he was called Walter. And I loved him then. And I still love him now. I wish they didn't change his name, but I've kind of grown to, like, get used to it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Next match, we got, 77 there. Bloodline. Next match, we got, Bullet Club versus the Ass Boys. Alright, let's see how this one goes. Yeah, I think Edge is retiring this year. I think Ray is going to be retiring pretty soon too, though. I will say I was surprised they let him win the U.S. title, but I assume that's part of a storyline they're gonna be working. He's about to. I think he had his last match at an episode of SmackDown in Toronto or Montreal, whatever. He wanted to do his last match in his hometown. So you might, unfortunately, Devo, you might have to old school it and get the console in the games. Fortunately, those Dreamcast wrestling games, I don't think they're very expensive at all. Break his leg. You know, it's funny about this game. As long as... And the trick with this game is that as long as you don't look for it, the game can give you some golden nuggets if you're open to it.
Fight!
I get you there. I get ya.
Yeah! Give up? Give up?
Little cattle mutilation there. But yeah, I mean... But I will say this, I feel like the roster split was poorly timed on WWE's part. I think they should have done it after they introduced the new titles. I think doing it before the new titles kind of messed with things. I feel like they're still doing the split, they're still holding on to that, but here's the problem with WWE, is that they don't have the roster to justify all the hours of TV they have. They really don't. They barely have enough to justify a roster split.
Yeah!
AEW has the reverse problem. They got a gajillion wrestlers. They're just starting to solve the time issue, but I believe with all my heart and soul that they should do a brand split, like for sure. I mean, I heard an idea a while back that some people of making Rampage a woman have it just be all women's wrestling on that. And I agree, because you could use it to help solve the women's booking issue. It makes sense because the TBS title that's tied to Rampage is a woman's belt. So, yeah, Corbin was good for a time. I think the biggest issue Corbin has had in recent years was that I think he's just having a hard time staying with the gimmick that works. I think one thing is he peaked very early, and one big thing is I think he just struggled having rivals. Usually a wrestler's success rate is depending on how many good rivals they have, and I think he just struggled maintaining that. Corbin likes Corbin. I like Corbin myself, but I will say I think he almost falls on the Jeff Jarrett category, where he could be an excellent heel, but he struggles so much in maintaining a gimmick that works with him. Oh yeah, Corbin's mic work is fine. There's no issue there. I don't think he's not even bad in the ring. I just think he's just one of those guys that struggles getting like with solo stuff. Like Billy Gunn's a good example of that. Billy Gunn's great in the ring, and he's not bad in the mic either, when he's allowed to be a natural talk. It's funny, Billy Gunn's one of those wrestlers where him talking just as himself is very interesting and compelling, a lot more than when he's, wrestle talking. It's a weird thing that happens sometimes. At least from my experience, at least. I think his talk work nowadays is better, but I think the reason why he struggled so much with that was that he couldn't get a singles thing working. They kept giving him these singles pushes and they never worked out. Yeah, oh, LA Knight is, like, great. Jeff Jarrett's way better than Corbin. I mean, yeah, I can understand that. I think Jeff Jarrett was better at consistent heat than Corbin. And I think Corbin also I think Jarrett definitely, I think Jarrett might be better at getting heat. And a lot of that was because when he was wrestling at the time, they were allowed to get away with a whole lot more. Like, I think his best heel shit was his work against China. I think to me that's his peak right there for me. Yeah, I think they tried to, but I think they didn't pair him up with the right people. I don't think. I think they just didn't pair him up with people that he had good chemistry with.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You know, it's funny too. I actually think I keep hearing this from a lot of people. A lot of people think Corbin's best gimmick was when he was Sad Corbin, when he lost the crown and he became like all his hair grown out and he looked homeless and shit. I heard a lot of people actually like that gimmick of his the best, which is very interesting to see. Yeah, he is definitely a territory guy. I think that's why he did so much in TNA. Not good. Yeah, to me, I think Jarrett's best stuff in WF was the China stuff. But yeah, no, Jarrett, I think in terms of Jarrett doing I think Jarrett's absolute best stuff might have been in TNA, actually. Oh, look at that. Bullet Club get the win. No, it's not. No, because it was so competitive and crowded back then for guys that, like a lot of people in the locker room I think China, like for example China, like a lot of guys in the locker room kind of had issues with China getting pushed the way she did because all of them were working their asses off, and China, well, I mean, you could argue that there was guys in the locker room that probably were better wrestlers than China, but man, she had a pull. Like, she had that X factor that made people want to like go and see her do her shit. And I don't think she was ever, like, bad in the ring. Stiff as hell. But I don't think she was a terrible worker. But what I like what they did with China, it's funny. Attitude Era got criticized a lot for being, like, chauvinistic and sexist and everything. But then you get China that gets portrayed and booked as somebody that can compete with men on an equal playing field. You know? And I like that. I miss that kind of stuff. I don't mind women competing with men on that level if they're built for it. I mean, if you can have Rey Mysterio fight The Undertaker and make it look credible, why couldn't Charlotte Flair fight somebody like a Dolph Ziggler or something like that? I mean, I mean, I get why they don't. I get that. But I think certain wrestlers, it can work. Debo. Oh man, that's some classic Ruthless Aggression era stuff right there. Bullet Club 77. Alright, next one, we got a title match here. Shamrock and Sting from TWL. The tap out title on the line here. And that's the thing, and that's the other thing, the reason why I get them not doing intergender stuff, because I can imagine it can be hard to do storylines with intergenderisms. But I don't know. I just think that if, like I said, if you could make Rey Mysterio against The Undertaker look credible, why I mean, because to me it's like, I get they do it. I know why they do it in other sports, and yeah, they should make guys and girls having their own separate sports divisions. Yes, definitely. But with wrestling, that's different. Wrestling is not like other stuff, and I don't know. I just think that if they're built for it, I mean, why not have some? And here's the other thing too: they keep showing girls attacking guys, but the guys can't attack girls. I kind of think that's kind of bullshit, in all honesty, because here's the thing: like, if you're in a competitive sphere and you're obviously doing wrestling moves on a guy, like a Rhea Ripley doing something on on Rey Mysterio, or spearing Kevin Owens through a fucking barricade. I mean, why couldn't Kevin Owens, like, give her, like, a shoulder block or a suplex or something like that? I don't think that's too much of a stretch. Yeah, exactly. That's why, too. Well, it's either that or Doink interferes and gives him some Joker gas, and he becomes Joker Sting. Okay, good. Good. And we need Shamrock. Yeah, you still have Cena. I'll have to cut him out here. Alright, let's see how it goes. Yeah, oh my god, the Josie shit, that's classic. Yeah, man, Chyna's definitely one of my favorite women's wrestlers, and one of my favorite wrestlers. I just think she just has that aura of her, and that you just have to take seriously. Yeah, like, Japanese wrestling of that era was, like, pinnacle with Wrestling Evolution. Like, it's almost must-watch. I would dare say it's a must-watch stuff. Yeah, and here's the thing too, if you do decide to switch to Crow Sting, I think I'd be very tempted to maybe port a new model that's Crow driven, because in all honesty, I feel, even though the only real change I would have to make with the model I have is just make the death drop more of a thing, I don't really want to, like, I'd rather just switch models out if someone wants to go back, as opposed to, like, having to go through the model and change shit around. Counter.
Give up. Great.
Ah, the chat kind of did a thing, so.
Give up.
Darby wants a match. Exactly. I remember when Diva Man. Oh yeah, like there was this short documentary about it. Like they assigned Fit Finley to train the women wrestlers, and he decided, like, after watching them spar a little bit, he decided, like, you know, why can't the women wrestling matches just be as good, if not better, than the males matches? So he started actually training them how to wrestle, and there was times where they were like, hey, the the uppity ups were like, hey, you're making them look too good, like, lay off. And he would say, yeah, they told me that, and I'll just, like, lay off for like a few days to a week, and then we just go back right to it. So yeah, I mean, he really helped that early women's revolution with Trish, Lita, and all those ladies really, like, kind of get a little bit of a sample taste of what's to come. So that he really helped that along. More baseball bat, yeah. I know that's his default weapon, I believe. Oh yeah, the Diva Championship. It's so weird, to be honest. When it comes to like proper woman like rap, I actually think the Attitude Era. I mean, the Attitude Era definitely had moments where it was definitely a little bit on the controversial side for sure. But here's the thing though, I feel like the women wrestlers, when they did wrestle and stuff, I feel like they were treated like actual, like, in reasonable seriousness, especially Chyna and all that. But when they switched to the Diva title and they were doing what they were doing there, I think they took a step back by a lot, because China and the Ruthless Aggression era women's wrestlers, like, even though the storylines could be, you know, what they were, like, the in-ring action could definitely stand out. But when they shifted to PG era and the Divas title, they took a huge step back, in my opinion, until they finally developed some women in NXT and brought them up, and they finally got it actually back on track.
16, 17.
Yeah. Mickey James and all that. Oh yeah, definitely.
Give up.
Oh, Sting's so busted open right now. Going up top. Ankle lock.
Give up.
Sting trying to fight out of it.
Give up.
Looks like, is that Sergeant Slaughter? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, I'm sure some of the women wrestlers in the Divas era were solid in the ring. It's just the treatment of the title and their storylines and stuff that was rough. Yeah, Victoria was interesting. She definitely had a good personality going, and she worked well in the ring too. Like I said, like, the Ruthless Aggression era, late Attitude era into the Ruthless Aggression era, they really started, like, stepping it up a lot with women's wrestling. Get out of here, Sarge. Going too far. Yeah. Oh, roll into a guillotine and a rope save Sting. I think that could have been it there if it wasn't for the ropes. Another press. Oh, Scorpion Deathlock. And Shamrock taps. Sting retains. Use its belts back. Got 79 there. Oh my god. Well, let's see what the semi-main event does here. I don't know what's with it about your promotion of Star Fox and GSW belts. I think it's because your promotions are in their second year of like warfare, but oh my god. Let's see how these let's see if the Legion, man, the Legion of Doom guys, I messed around with them a few times to try to get them more on the even scale. Like, I went more in depth into them than I have with any models because they were jacked up. But let's see if I can finally see if they'll finally relent on this one here. Alright, Legion of Doom being challenged by Vader and Too Cold. Floss clean sweep. Well, we shall see. You never know. Alright, let's see how it goes. Yeah. It's the best, yeah. You know, I only learned about that because when I was watching Wrestling Bios, he did a video covering like WCW videotapes, and one of them contained the music video to Too Cold's theme, and it was one of the most early '90s thing ever. And he played that non-stop on wrestling on Reliving the War, so I knew I had to like switch his theme to that. Yeah, you know, it's weird. It's funny, like, even though there's so many, like, favorites, there's just so many wrestlers that I feel like so many of them slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of guys I want to get that I haven't made chance to. I mean, there's the Eliminators with Saturn and Kronos. There's Kenyan. There's the Headbangers are just put in there. But there's quite a few. There's some ECW guys. I mean, there's still a lot of guys that haven't been put in to stuff yet. But I mean, but it's one of those things where like there has to be the promotional demand to have all those wrestlers like around. Like it's hard to get 300 wrestlers like in ring action when there's only so many promotions. So that, like I said, that's kind of why I made the new rule about multiple promotions, because scoop the Headbangers. I don't know. I don't know if the only reason why I probably won't, because I'm very satisfied with what my roster's at right now. I did a lot of cuts in the off season, and I picked up guys because I wanted to like start shifting more of a focus. Ooh, interesting. I thought about doing a second promotion. If I did, they might be picked up, but to be honest, I don't know if I'll do a second promotion, just because along with this and other projects, RCW stuff, and even though Star Fox is the commissioner of YWA, I still have a reasonable amount of responsibilities in that as well. So I don't know if I'll do another promotion. I'd rather save the extra promotions for the rest of ya, just because I already have so much stuff. But I don't know, maybe one day I might tackle a second one. Their own time. Well, it's funny, the Legion of Doom have never lost the TWN tag belts. They won it day one and they've kept them ever since. So, whoever beats them is going to open up that tag division by a lot in that promotion. You know, I also thought about I was making the Hall of Fame rules for TWN, XAW 2.0. Man, you know what? I have been tempted about, like, all wrestlers. I might. I'll have to think about it. It's gonna be a long season, though, so I'll have time to think about it. Um...
10 minutes gone.
Yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say? Yeah, actually, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The video game, having video game characters in this, I don't mind it at all, but I feel like it definitely demands some expectations though, because if you're gonna do like the big Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, and all that, I mean, you kind of expect like big shit, and I would love to see somebody take those characters on in this game and like put them with like a big story. You know, like actual like Mortal Kombat stuff and that. Like somebody with like the old Gray Man storyline drive. Oh, there's Jericho. Oh, look at this. Spike pile driver on Animal in the corner. Wait, Paul Ellering coming down. Ooh, Vader with life. So that does remind me, if anything, it does remind me on XAW. I know I said this earlier, a lot earlier, but Eli did say he wanted to do an XAW pay-per-view after the week at the moment, but I don't know if he's still aware or focused on that right now, so I'll have to check with him. But outside of that, the next TWN thing will be the first All-Stars episode of the season. I plan on doing that Friday. Oh, 450, but the rope saves him. Bulldog counter. Goes for a cover. 2, 3. Oh, no! What is... Yeah, Hawk just took advantage of a pin. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how to make them more even with the other guys, because I looked at everything. I might look again, but no, he did a bulldog count. He fell on the ground, and Hawk just took advantage of it. Crazy. Standing. No, Vader couldn't get there in time. Like despite Vader's athleticism, he could only move so fast. All right. Well, well, you know, it's funny you mention that, because I thought about when I was making the Hall of Fame rules for TWN stuff about Hall of Famers being limited or restricted from competing for titles. But I went against that because even though LD were like title veterans at this point, guys like Styles and Vader really aren't necessarily. Hiring a hit. Well, the APA is looking for some money, so maybe hire the APA. They're a multi-million-dollar company now. Just ask the wrestling god JBL. Alright, next match. But yeah, main event, Mr. Perfect against Logan Paul. for title shot stuff. Logan Paul's also current UPW champion right now. Honor 2? Okay. On this generation. It's funny with Logan Paul because it seems like he is at the perfect spot for wrestling right now because he gets amazing heat and he works well in the ring. I mean, you can't ask better than that. I mean, granted, it helps that he's super part-time so he gets plenty of time to rehearse and practice the stuff, but still, it's something. Oh shit, I needed to make it 20, not 30. I'll have to reset it here. What's their opponents? Yeah, it's weird, because on one hand, it's like, 'cause I know his brother, granted, his brother is the more controversial of the two, but you kind of want to, but when you see him just do his thing in the ring, it's just like, he's such a natural. It's kind of hard not to give him props for doing that. To be honest, I wouldn't mind it if he had a title reign with a very low card. Like if they did a European Championship or a Hardcore Championship again or something along those lines, I think he'd be a great like title holder for something of low stature. I don't really want to see him be IC or US champion, but I think something among the lower card title holder I think would be an interesting thing to try out. Call off the hit. Alright, let's see how this goes. Yeah, I don't know what else I can do with those guys. I think I could look further, but I typically don't go that far with the models, because I know some models, when they get downloaded and I go through them, I don't touch up everything in their specific CPU, because even though I want things balanced out, I still want a personality there, nonetheless. But at the same time, when it leads to sheer dominance, like with the fucking Legion of Doom, I almost have to do that. So I'll look further into it, but I don't know if there's anything else there. Retire, interesting. You know what? Before you get ahead of yourself, I have an idea. Because I have an idea, because there's I know there's TWN there's a couple pay-per-views coming up soon. I have an idea for those, because they hold a bunch of tag titles right now. They have the PCCW, they have the IGW, they have the GSW, and they still have their own TWL. So here's an idea. I suggest we do a gauntlet event, but all the belts are up for grabs for one team, and we'll make it, all the promotions can put a team up, except for TWL, of course. They'll have, you know, LLD, and LLD will have to beat all of them to keep all the belts. Yeah, because here's the thing. If they win those, whoever wins those 4 belts, they'll have to, like, defend them everywhere. And I severely doubt they'll be able to defend them like the Legion of Doom did. I mean, it'll be a pain in the ass to convert all of them over to that specific team, but I feel like it'd be a better way of getting them off the Legion of Doom with them still looking strong and creating some fresh stuff there. And plus, the team that does win it, they'll get a good little pop for Hall of Fame suggestions, and then they can travel around. There's opportunities galore for that. Doomsday. Yeah, it's weird because there's also a national tag title tournament that I was gonna do for that pay-per-view as well, but. Man, but doing this though would be great too, but even though we just did a gauntlet at the last TWN pay-per-view event, so I don't know how we would host it. Oh, perfect Plex. Actually, I do have an idea. I think what we need to do is we need to do a special Grapplecade event to do all that stuff in. So I think what I'm going to do is, the next TWN pay-per-view event, we'll focus on the national tag titles, and then at some point I'm going to do a Grapplecade event in the middle of the season. That doesn't happen too often. I usually save them for end of season, but with specific cases, I typically do them in the middle of the season. So I'll probably do a Grapplecade event pretty soon after the TWN pay-per-view event, and we'll do that, the gauntlet, which will be 8 matches, and those 8 teams against LOD, so it'll be 8 matches and all that. Yeah, you see, it's funny, the rest of them are corner grapples, but that one was a post move, so it happens more often, which is key, because there's a lot of moves that guys use a lot that unfortunately are tied to the corner grapple, which can be a little tough to get to happen. So I try to find other variations where they could use it more frequently. They've done it a couple times, but I've definitely tried, like, messing with their AI to make them do that move a lot more often, but unfortunately, those corner grapple tag moves, they're just tough to get them going. They're just not designed to happen often, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it's not like a front or back grapple version of the Doomsday device that I could put in. Darby Allin interfering, helping Mr. Perfect. That'd be an interesting rivalry, Logan Paul and Darby Allin. Figure 4. Oh, Mr. Perfect gets the win! You know, it's funny, LJC, like, when I was looking up, prior Rare Knuckle events, both of them were, like, a minute 52-ish in length. And this one was actually, I believe, right now it's, like, a minute 48-ish when I combined them. So, it's kind of funny how they're kind of in a similar area. Now, the calculation. Let's see how well the pay-per-view did here. Ooh, interesting. Well, unfortunately, LGC, your pay-per-view got a 79. So, I don't know what's it about. The matches didn't seem that bad. I just think that not a lot of them were able to get the right, I don't know. Just one of those days, I guess. But still a good event, though. It's kind of funny that TWN retained all those GSW belts again. Yeah, getting high 1s and 10 match pay-per-views is tougher than 8 match pay-per-views. I will say that. I'll have to do some calculations on what your profit will be. Let's look at those titles again. Let's see what we got here. What's currently going on. Interesting Indies champ stuff. Oh yeah, definitely. It's always fun with the big pay-per-view stuff. I will say though, unfortunately, I'm kind of... We're not getting a lot of action with the TWN Women's title, so I'm kind of glad I have the new system now, because it'll make it easier to, like, have title holders for, like, neutral events. But the women's one, not a lot of, like, women's wrestling right now, which I get. There's only so many notable women wrestlers, and those markets are cornered currently by XAW and PCCW. Taz there, Daniels Jr., Sting's still there. Doink Overlord. LD there. Terry Gordy still IC title. Yep, right there. Brock Lesnar. Malenko. Christian. I still gotta put the TWN titles on the guys. I haven't done that yet. That does remind me, if you guys want your guys in your promotion to wear your belts, let me know. It will cost you a little bit of credits to do that, but if you want that extra touch, go ahead and say so. Yeah, I get ya. If you want to pick a free agent woman and do something at an event or something like that, just let me know. That's fine. I get it. I mean, you only have so many time and slots. I mean, because here's the thing, like, you can have a cruiserweight division, but you don't need to. You can have them with other, but when you have a women's wrestlers, because I don't know if women wrestlers operate differently in this game than men wrestlers, or if they're alike, but you almost need a women's division, you know. And if you don't have the amount for it, then it can be a little tough to get the match time. Like China, and I have China and Luna Vachon, and I haven't really snuck in a lot of stuff with them. I almost consider like letting them go a little bit, but I still kind of want to try to get something out of them. I'm cool with no belts. Yeah. Oh, jeez, yeah. I mean, jeez, like, it is crazy. Let me look at your belts again. What do you have here? Gotta get rid of all these YWA titles pretty soon. Yep, Sting. LD. Where's the trios? There it is. GSW on Jericho. That's it. Wow. It's crazy. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. LOD is just so much. But like I said, in terms of streaming schedule, unless Eli says something, I don't really have anything for tomorrow. I don't even know if I'll have time to stream tomorrow, depending on how things go. 'Cause I have to be up super early Friday, so we'll have to see how that goes with that. But Friday is definitely All Stars, that's for sure. So that's definitely something important to keep in mind. But yeah, I'll have to calculate the pay-per-view winnings here. And yeah, I think that's actually gonna do it for this event here, guys. Like I said, I will be combining the streams here, so they will be one video, and that's gonna be done ASAP, whenever YouTube decides to finish processing the streams. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this one here. Thanks for watching. In case you guys wanted to chat with, I know, but no pressure. Yeah, feel free to put in week 2 booking, because if I will say this, if Eli doesn't say anything for it and I have some free time, I will start week 2. And I think Grayman's the first to post week 2 stuff. I'll have to double check. But we'll see. I'll mention it to Eli and see if he's ready for that. No problem, LGC. But yeah, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. In case you guys wanted to chat with anyone at the Campy Company, didn't want to use YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. First one is we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that on About page / About section of our channel. We also have a community tab in our channel as well. You can access that anywhere and anytime. Yeah, very solid stream. Despite the internet shortage, definitely glad to see so many people be able to catch it live. It's always good when that happens. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.